right, folks, welcome to Wani and Metal Nation Radio. With us today, we have legendary Hank Shermann of Mercyful Fate and also Denner Shermann Project. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well.
And the new album, the new EP to be precise, will be out in just another 8 days. So, you guys have released a few songs. So, how have been the response from the fans so far?
I mean, yeah, I don't think that many fans have had a chance to listen to it, but I mean, the reviews that seems to be out there, among yourself, seems to be overwhelmingly good. So we are pretty excited about what we have been reading so far. So and hopefully, since this was, we did this album basically going back to where we began, with
Right.
this style 80s type of missile. That's where we come from. So the spirit of the early Merciful Fate is certainly there. So hopefully the fans will appreciate that, and time will only tell.
Absolutely, because this EP has been very well received by media as well. The songs are crafted with like you said, keeping the Merciful Fate legion of fans in mind. But for you as a songwriter, how was your experience of, let's say, blending classic heavy metal sound with a different approach? No technical wankery, just pure classic heavy metal sound.
Yeah, that is, since I have been composing all my life, when I started to play the guitar, I started playing guitar in March 1977. So,
Right.
so since 77, I have been basically, have loved to make new songs, and that ended up with the early Merciful Fate albums. I mean, together with King Diamond, me and him did, most of all those songs.
Right.
So that is part of my style. So doing that today is the same. I mean, I don't have changed that much in how I write a song. So that is like my signature kind of style, and I'm sure people can hear that as well. And obviously, when you have other musicians, now we have Sean Pegg as a singer, he will contribute with some different angles, and
Right.
Snowy Shaw is also a very unique drummer. He will also add to with his signature. So it is like very 80s, late 70s kind of composing style,
Hmm.
added with some production of maybe late 80s, early 90s, stuff
Right.
like that. So
Right. I totally agree with that because right from the first riff to the last wail, one cannot help but kindly very much feel the magic being recaptured once again. Probably you guys might wanted to have that essence of what you guys created back in the early 80s. So, but keeping that in mind, you still wanted to do something instead of let's say doing the same thing over and over again. Instead of that, you just took a little bit of a new direction on this EP.
yeah, I mean, if this would have been, let's say, Merciful Fate, I was writing this song for, then I would likely have shaped a slightly different. But
Hmm.
since it's a completely kind of a new thing, me and Michael back together again. I mean, and also working with Sean, then I think I shaped it slightly differently. But on the other hand, if you have the songs called New Gods, Seven Skulls, I mean, they are
Right.
very much up the alley, how I would compose a Merciful
Compose.
Fate song.
Right. I totally
So
get that.
yeah,
Awesome. Now Mark, is on bass and then we have Snowy as well. That was the obvious choice for you to have Snowy, which I can clearly understand. But was this lineup something you guys planned in advance? Like, okay, we want these guys in the band, or was it something like you went for kind of a short auditions and found these guys?
to start with, me and Michael decided, after doing the Merciful Fate 30 years anniversary videos with Melissa and Don't Break Those,
Mm-hmm.
we decided to form a band. And then, before thinking too much into musicians, we announced it, on the internet, Blabbermouth, Bravewords, Facebook, and all those places.
Right.
And then the day after, or the same day, I got a message from Sean Peck saying, "Hey, this is Sean. I'm the singer for an American band called Cage. If you ever needed a singer, I would certainly be interested."
Mm-hmm.
So say wow and we said, hey, Sean is like a really cool screamer, and we are big fans of Rob Halford, early Judas Priest,
Right.
so and Merciful Fate as well. And then we contacted Sean, and I sent him off one song that I already had composed, and the
Okay.
day after he sent that back. And from there on, we never stopped the songwriting process.
Mm-hmm.
And for the drummer Snowy, we say, hey, we need to get the best drummer out there, and we
Right.
certainly consider Snowy as like a world class, unique talent
True.
and style he has. And since I was in the middle of my other project called Sherman Tank at the time, I
Mm-hmm.
brought that bass player Mark
Mark.
into this band. So it was not really like a big like thinking too much about it. It took maybe a day to figure all this out.
Nice, nice. That's wonderful. So it all, the planning went properly and it was even more compact.
Yeah, I mean it made us be on a roll instantly. So from when we announced Denner Shermann, new band, day after we just continued, started to work on the EP right away.
That's awesome. So
So
how was the collaboration with Metal Blade? I mean, I know Brian Slagel is a Merciful Fate fan.
oh yeah, I mean we have been knowing Brian Slagel since maybe
80s.
the late 80s, and
Yeah.
also Merciful Fate signed a contract with Metal Blade in 1992, and
Mm-hmm.
we are still on contract with Metal Blade with Merciful Fate. So I think it was like a perfect match because Mr. Blade have King Diamond band, he has Artillery, another Danish
Right.
band,
Right.
and then signing me and Michael, is kind of getting
Obvious.
to be a big family. And also Mr. Blade is like, I think, the best heavy metal company out there, knows the new ways of treating all this digital internet world, and
Right.
supporting the band, and
Right.
so that's really cool.
Absolutely. Now, you and Michael, I mean, you guys are the original guitar players of Merciful Fate. Now, you guys did Melissa, you guys did Don't Break the Oath, which are considered as role model albums, and your guitar playing skills as well, which actually made Merciful Fate a cult band. But when you guys started this, in early 80s, did you guys even imagine that Merciful Fate will become a cult band?
No, I mean, I don't think any like famous or even really famous musicians or legends or icons sing that about themselves. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we were young guys, and we thought our music was incredible good, and we really believed in the songs. And but I think we have, when we were started with Merciful Fate, everyone had our own heroes. We had like the early Judas Priest, and Black Sabbath, and
Yeah.
Deep Purple, and Uriah Heep, all those bands, UFO, Scorpions, Iron Maiden, all those bands. So we have been fans of bands as well. I mean, and 30 years later, now we're talking here. It's like, of course, like cool that so many people have respect and really love the early albums. And as a band member, being part of that, I can only be honored and
Absolutely.
grateful that people feel like that. And also, I'm happy if we can inspire musicians to get started playing with the guitar, or maybe a singer wants to sound like King Diamond. I mean, maybe we will have a new King Diamond, 5 years from now. So
Right. I totally get that. Now, you guys, you were a pioneer, in developing black metal in the early days, and also the kind of the rage which came, and the sort of anxiety from the fans that they had never seen before, with King being, fronting the band, and you guys playing all the riffs. How do you feel has this entire wave changed now with the modern production and the new bands coming in? So, what's your opinion on the current scene? What has happened to the black metal which you guys developed back in 80s?
yeah, I mean, it is funny, like how it changes all that, especially with the face painting groups or bands. I mean, King obviously was also inspired, let's say, from Alice Cooper,
Right.
maybe Kiss and stuff like that. But I mean, we had the music that was a little more evil, and also his lyrics were, pretty evil, satanic, and all that
Occult.
occult.
Occult, right.
And I think that's what all the black metal bands mostly are into. Is like, of course, whole King Diamond's universe around surrounded by the music, and
Right.
especially his lyrics, and also some of the songs were really crazy. The new bands nowadays have, of course, been upgrading a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
with production
Technology.
possibilities, everyone can, sit at home and really do cool sounding stuff. And
Right.
the death black metal. I don't know. At some point there was a lot of paint, face painted bands. It was hard to see the difference. But I'm very old fashioned, and kind of tend to like what I liked when I was young. So, I
Yeah.
think that goes for most for most people. But I'm really impressed that they took this black metal style and, make it as big as it were at some point. I don't think it's that big anymore, but at some point it was all about black metal and face painted bands. So
Right.
I think that was, and they also brought the theatrical. They had, bigger productions with a lot of fire and crazy stuff and
Right.
blood. And but we did all that in 1982. So maybe they got some inspiration there.
Absolutely. That's amazing to hear, Hank. Now, what's the plan of taking this, EP on road? Because I really feel that this material should be played live. I mean, it's got an essence. It's got a live essence, which I'm sure fans are gonna love.
Yeah, at this point we have already been offered some festivals, but I think we will wait until the EP is out next week, and then,
Yeah,
because then all promoters have a chance to actually hear what this is all about.
absolutely.
So we will be picking up, hopefully good festivals also have strings of shows,
True.
selected places that could be UK, could be Europe, it could be, United States. We at this point we don't have a clue, but for sure it is a plan to go out and play live. And since we are in the middle of the production of the album, we have about 6 or 7 songs completed.
Wow.
Those songs will have to be part of of the set list, as we
Right.
only have 4 songs now. So
True.
and also Merciful Fate songs. I mean,
Yeah.
it is like, what fans or heavy metal fans would, expect that we play.
Expect.
So
True. True.
so we have a few ideas of what songs to play, whenever we get there.
That's awesome. Glad to hear. So the new songs which you guys, like you said, the 6 songs which you will be playing live, is there any plan of releasing it down the line, or it's just, gonna be, let's say, released as a new album in the future, or it'll be changed again? What's the plan for that?
That, the album is already, like I said, 6 songs, and I think we only need to write 3 more songs. I would consider those
Mm-hmm.
the full album written at the end of November, and then we will start production recordings in December and January. And
Wow, that's
if
cool.
Metal Blade up to it, we would really like to release the album in May 2016.
Okay. Wow,
So
that's cool.
it's already like far, because when we ended the production with the EP,
Mm-hmm.
me and Sean just continued the songwriting and have never stopped. So that's why we are pretty far into the production of the songs.
That's wonderful, Hank. So, has there ever been a chance? Because, obviously with Merciful Fate, you guys did some few reunion shows here and there. Is there anything else on the cards in terms of maybe a new album or some other tours or some reunion shows in future?
I mean, nothing has been completely planned at this point, but I mean, me and King have been talking about it, some years ago, and that at some point, when the opportunity is there and the time is there and it makes sense, and also for the many fans that really wants to see and hear about hear Merciful Fate. I mean, we still have a contract with Metal Blade. We still have 1 album left.
Right.
So I would personally love to do, let's say, a final cool album.
Yeah,
Maybe we could maybe do some events. I mean, special selected shows could also be an option. But I mean,
the
it needs
right
to have
time and the right
everyone.
moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I'm sure it will happen at some point. It would be a shame if it didn't.
Right. So obviously you guys would love, but it's all about time, finding time with you guys being busy, King being busy with this
It
band.
I would think it's more up to King Diamond, how his career goes with King, with what he is going. He's doing the Abigail tour now, and
Right.
they are looking into recording a new album, and maybe tour with that. So it has to be in between, or suddenly it's just there. I mean, and the good thing about all this, for the fans that want to hear about this, is that King is very active, doing really well now.
Right.
Me and Michael is active and in good shape. Timmy Hansen is also in good shape. We just recently played a few jams with him,
Nice.
and so I mean, so we are not that old and retired yet.
I totally get that. So maybe the best is yet to come from Merciful Fate.
That would be cool. I mean, that would really be cool.
Fantastic, Hank. It's a great, time having a chat with you. So before we conclude, how about you define Satan's tomb in just one sentence?
Wow, I mean, Satan's Tomb is to me totally classic heavy metal and totally classic lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely. I was expecting you to say that because not many times I get an album to listen to with amazing lyrics. But this EP has a perfect combination of great music and obviously great lyrics. So thank you very much for spending some time. It's been an honor sitting here in India, having a chat with you.
The same, my pleasure. Thanks always.